What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here. I'm ready to deliver you our week number 6 team builder in the PFL Major Leagues here on the channel. After a crushing defeat last week against Steven and the Twin Leaf Tauros, we are going to try and bounce back this week against Kevin K. Sorry about that. I'm pulling up the document in the background so that I can actually see his team name because I don't know it off the top of my head. But Kevin, whatever he wishes to be referred to as, and the Jacksonville KaDABras. Yes, it is highlighted. Like the dab in the name is highlighted. It's you know, because Kadabra can dab. If yeah, you get the point. Like that. Yeah. It's pretty much That's cool, right? Yeah. But so yeah, we're here, build this team, and hoorah, awesome stuff. Let's get into this. His team actually consists of really bunch of scary mons. He's got Victini, Mandibuzz, Porygon 2, Vaporeon, Bronzong, Licky, Mega Beedrill, Conkeldurr, Talonflame, Rotom Cut, and Torkoal. So right off the bat, you see his hazard removal options are Defog Mandibuzz and Rapid Spin Torkoal, both of which are weak to rocks. So they have to come in, like if I can sneakily get rocks up, they have to come in on those rocks and take that damage. So that could be huge for us, so hopefully that'll work. Victini is an absolute threat because obviously it can just be it can be literally whatever it wants. It could be special, physical, whatever it wants to be. I don't know. It really all depends. But that thing's kind of scary. He's got a very fat team. Like his team's mostly fat. Like Licky, Bronzong, Vaporeon, Porygon 2, Mandibuzz, Torkoal. Most of his team is very bulky. Like Victini could be bulky as well if he wanted it to be. He could build a bulky Talonflame set. He could build a bulky Rotom Cut set. Like his entire team is just bulk, and like Conkeldurr is pretty fat too. The only really not so potentially bulky mon on his team is Mega Beedrill. Now, besides that, though, he does have a decent amount of speed with Talonflame and Mega Beedrill both breaking base 125 speed. But like the speed tiers kind of just drop from there. Like it goes from 145 to 126 to 100, and then all the way down to 86. So like his speed tiers are all over the place. So it's going to be interesting to prep for. But I think, truthfully, that we have a very good chance of pulling out on top with this one. I'm really excited about this matchup. So, yeah, let's get into our prep for this. So the first thing I wanted to bring, and I know it's almost basically obvious at this point because of the GBA, but I just couldn't help it. Physical Victini is a terrifying thing. Banded Victini is the bane of 95% of competitive battlers' existences. And the number one thing I have on my team to counter a Banded Victini is, or any physical variant of Victini, I should say, is Weasley the Druddigon. Rough Skin Rocky Helmet, 232 HP, 252 defense, Impish Nature. This thing just switches into Victini every single time, because if Victini touches it, if there's a situation where I can switch into a V-Create from Victini, Victini dies. If I get Druddigon in against it, Victini is gonna die, because its defense is lower. And it becomes a mind game at that point, because I can either A, click Pursuit, and if it's trying to switch, or if it's trying to U-turn out, if it's not banded, if it's like trying to U-turn out, I will still like annihilate it with Pursuit. Or if it stays in and tries to go for an attack, I can go ahead and Sucker Punch that bitch, and either way, it dies. Like 100%, it's just dead. So, Weasley is kind of like that immediate switch in there. So Pursuit and Sucker Punch are both on the moveset as ways of hitting the Victini really hard. The Sucker Punch itself could become in very handy because he does have a lot of very fast mons, like a lot of faster mons than us. So I really want to be able to catch them off guard, per se. Now mind you, also, I originally built this team at level 50, so I had to edit the spreads a little bit, because he decided to battle at level 100 last minute. Or I didn't know what level we were going to be battling at until like last minute, so I had to change everything, and the spreads were a little bit different. I don't remember exactly what I'm speed creeping here, to be totally 100% honest with you. I have absolutely no idea what I'm speed creeping. I believe this speed allows me to outspeed min speed Licky Licky if he brings it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, min speed Licky Licky. So that's kind of cool. That's cool, I guess. That's cool. But yeah, so that's a thing that we got going on there. Druddigon could put in a lot of work with those moves. This thing also is there to set up Stealth Rocks. This is actually going to be my guaranteed lead in the matchup no matter what situation I see, because I'm looking at his team. Victini, even if it's special, it's not going to OHKO me. I've already calced that. It can't OHKO me, so I can still get my rocks up guaranteed. If he leads Beedrill, then it's either going to have to hard swap, or it really essentially can't touch me without nuking itself. Mandibuzz really can't do anything to me unless it just wants to like defog turn 1, like predicting my rocks, which would be dumb. Actually, it'd be faster than me, so I'd get it nowhere. But so there's that. Porygon 2, it's probably packing Ice Beam, which it can hurt me, but I'm not really too worried about Porygon 2. If I see Porygon 2 lead, I can still get my rocks up. I can live any one hit from anything on K's team, essentially. I can live any one hit from everything on his team. So I'm pretty free to just go in and set up rocks. And if he doesn't have his hazard removal, and if he has his hazard removal, he can get rid of it later, potentially, unless I can prevent it somehow. If he doesn't have his hazard removal, then that's free rocks for the whole matchup, and that's a crippled Mega Beedrill, that's a crippled Victini, and that's beautiful for me. And that's a super crippled Talonflame. Because Talonflame can't just come into the match late game, set up and sweep, because it's immediately taking 50%. So that's a really, really cool strategy. And the last thing I have on there is Glare, because it's a very interesting idea I had in my mind, and I figured I would give it a shot. It works on every mon on his team, barring the Rotom, but the way I see it is he could potentially bring a mon in against this thing that it's obviously going to be faster, or bulky, and it's going to sit there for a while, or something along those lines. And I want it paralyzed. I can paralyze everything on my opponent's team, barring the Rotom. So why not? If I can get some paralysis off on my opponent, that'd be great. Slow his team down so that my team can do more damage later on. I think that could be very, very effective for this matchup. So I decided to bring the Glare, because why not? You know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Oh well. No skin off my teeth. Well, that's going to be our Druddigon set for this week. Really, really excited to bring Druddigon. I think Druddigon can put in some work for this game. Next up, we have Starscream the Staraptor, and I know what some of you are probably thinking, like, I've brought the Nuke Staraptor, or a version of the Nuking Staraptor, like, almost every single week. But at the same time, look at what it's done. Like, if you really, really, really think about it, look at what Staraptor has done for our team. Okay, like, since we started really bringing the nuke set, look how many times it's come through for us. All right, you'll see what it does in this battle. Okay, because you know, obviously it's a Staraptor. It's going to put in some kind of work in the battle in some way, right? That makes sense. Okay, so let's just take a gander. Okay, shall we? Let's take a gander at what we got. Against Scott, Staraptor got 3 kills. It had to die to its own recoil before it died, in order for it to drop. But it got 3 kills. Absolute monster. Complete beast. I think it even got a kill against Steven. I believe it did get a kill or 2 against Steven last week. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it got a kill against Steven. I have to check that. I don't know if I have the info written down here yet, or still have it written down, but I know for a fact that Staraptor was in the matchup, I believe, so it did something. I can guarantee that. Like we look at it didn't do anything for us in our match against Rampage, but we didn't really need him there. I don't even believe we brought him in that matchup. We were able to, granted, we get to get lucky with it against Toasty, but it did, in fact, just kind of nuke. Like, it actually nuked, 100% nuked the fuck out of, whatchamacallit. It nuked Toasty's team almost entirely. So, that's awesome. And then, week 1, I don't remember if we brought it against Donald, but I know that I know that against Donald, or not, yeah, was it Donald? Yeah, I know against Donald I believe we brought it. I just don't remember exactly what it did. I have to look at his team real quick and see what it potentially did. I don't know if it really did anything in that matchup, did it? I don't think it did, but that's just my memory being shit, so it probably put in some crazy work. I don't remember, but overall, like, the Nuke Raptor set has done so much work for us, so why not bring it again? So we are bringing Adamant Band this week. I predict deep down inside that if he's going to bring an offensive Victini, it's going to be special. But it's probably going to be modest, because I think, like, for the most part, Victinis like to run the boosting nature for its offensives, because it has so many hard-hitting moves, but some cases that difference between Adamant or Jolly or Modest and Timid, I think the difference there is just too huge. In some cases, it misses key KOs, or key 2-hit KOs, that there's just no point in not bringing it. And I mean, Victini's good enough that you can easily, it's so good that you can easily, you can easily just make it modest and build the EV spread appropriately around that and do some work. And I do believe he's going to be modest because of the whole Drotagon situation, but you know, I had to bring it as a just in case. It had to show up. But, yeah, Nuke Raptor is insanely good for this matchup. Even his biggest and most tanky walls, like look at some of these calcs. Like, dude, you have to understand where I'm coming from here. You have to understand. Where's my damage calcs? You have to understand this. Hold on. I am bringing these damage calcs over here. And we're pulling up Staraptor, okay? Starscream, baby. Boom. Right, like Vaporeon. Bold, max HP, max defense, Vaporeon. Brave Bird or Double Edge does 77.5 to 91%. That's crazy. That's a fully physically defensive mon. Okay? Porygon 2. Get this boy defensive. Yeah, give him that full physical defense, full physical bulk. Okay? Minimum 50% on both Brave Bird and Double Edge, and close combat's also a guarantee to a KO. Tell me this thing isn't a monster. Like, someone tell me that this thing isn't an absolute monster. Physically defensive Mandibuzz, if he brings it, is not a switch in because it takes 60 to 71%. Boom. Pratt guaranteed to a KO. The only thing that stops this thing on his team, honestly, looking at it, is Bronzong. The only thing on his team that can stop this thing is Bronzong. If Bronzong dies, Staraptor just kind of clicks Brave Bird and wins. Essentially. Because Conkeldurr dies, Mega Beedrill dies. I'm not running the calcs on that. Licky. If he is a fully physically defensive Licky, which I don't understand why he would be, but if he is a fully physically defensive Licky, he even still takes 70% from a Brave Bird or Double Edge, so that's not a switch in. Rotom Cut. Rotom C, like a bulky Rotom cut, like I'm talking 252, like bold and shit. That thing is taking 82 to 97% from Brave Bird and Double Edge. Like that's like are you guys understanding like the monster I have on my team? Like this thing actually tears through teams. And so if Bronzong drops, what's to stop me from getting Starscream in here beautifully fine and just clicking Brave Bird and winning the game? Really, what stops me? Nothing. So that's our complete plan for the matchup, is eliminate Bronzong, step 1, step 2, win with Staraptor, basically. So that's that, Mon. We have Shell Shock the Blastoise, Assault Vested with Torrent. We have interesting EV spread, a little bit in defense, 248 HP, 196 in Spadef, and 20 in speed. The 20 in speed is so that we can outpace a, what are we outpacing here? What are we outpacing? Hold on, let me take a gander at my Nodorinos. We are outpacing the, we're not outpacing the Milotic. We don't outspeed that. We are outpacing the, base 80s being the Mandibuzz. We outpace the Mandibuzz. We outpace the, yeah, it's just the Mandibuzz on this team, yeah. Yeah, we're outpacing the Mandibuzz with that, because why not? Originally, I think I had it set so that I was going to outpace the Milotic, but I figured that that was kind of... So, that's that. But, we were running Rapid Spin, Scald, Ice Beam, and Mirror Coat. Very standard spread. Very standard moveset. I did EV this appropriately, so that I believe it's Modest Choice Specs. And I want to make sure that I'm right about this. Modest Choice Specs for Blastoise. I EV'd this appropriately so that Modest Choice Specs Rotom Cut does not kill us with a Leaf Storm, and we can just simply Mirror Coat it and kill it, which is cool. So yeah, if that thing just wants to go for a Leaf Storm against our Blastoise, we just click Mirror Coat and the Rotom Cut dies. If it wants to go for a Volt Switch to try and gain some momentum off of, something else is going to die, because the Volt Switch is doing 44 to 52%, so that's going to hurt something a lot. And just overall, if I can get Mirror Coats off on things, it's going to do a lot of damage. Victini could be, if it's a special set, it could be running Energy Ball or Thunder. I'm not really too worried about it. And if we can get that thing with one Mirror Coat, we could potentially put it in range for rocks to kill it too. So that could be awesome. Just Blastoise is just so good in this matchup. It just walls so many things. It can pretty much shut down Vaporeon, as Vaporeon also at the same time shuts us down, but still. Like, this thing puts a stalemate with Vaporeon, even though Vaporeon could probably Toxic Stall it, but still, like, it doesn't really, like, matter. It doesn't really care about Vaporeon existing, I suppose. This thing also shuts down Torkoal. This thing can stop Torkoal from really doing anything that wants to. And on top of that, this thing can switch in on Talonflame. I'm 90% positive we switch in on Talonflame. Switch in on Talonflame, do we? Jolly Banded Brave Bird, we do not. Adamant Banded Brave Bird, we definitely do not. Never mind. We can't switch in on Talonflame. But it's something that can't switch on us. Why would you switch in Talonflame on us? Why? It's dumb. Next up we have Raiden. Raiden the Manectric here. Again, this move set is... I don't remember exactly the EV spread, or why I have it the way it is. Maybe it'll make more sense as a Mega. Hold on, give me a second. Boop. Alright, let's see what he's at. 354. What's that outpacing? What's that outpacing? Is that adamant Talonflame thing? I think that's adamant Talonflame, man. Boo 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 boo. Mega Man Nectaric. See, when it was level 50, it was meant to outpace a level 50 Adamant Talonflame. That's what the plan was. I'd edit it a little bit. So, bump it to level 100. Add 4 points into its HP. Add 4 points to its speed. Yeah, I don't know what that does. No, it does nothing anymore. Wow, that really... The whole having to change the levels thing really, like, fucked with poor Manectric here. Really fucked with him. Because he really didn't do anything at this point. Like his spread does nothing spectacular for him anymore, and that's really unfortunate because I put a lot of work into that spread to be able to beat Talonflame 1v1 with this Manectric spread. But that's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate thing, but this was originally meant to 1v1 Talonflame. Because in order for Talonflame to hit us, especially if it just picked up a kill, I can switch immediately in, intimidate it, and that's a free Volt Switch, because his team doesn't have any ground types. So, free Volt Switch for us, because either A, the Talonflame stays in, tries to Flare Blitz us, and dies. Brave Bird won't do shit to us, so there's no way he's going to do that. So either U-turn to, either Flare Blitz or U-turn against us, or hard switch. Either way, we would get a Volt Switch and either gain momentum or kill the Talonflame. One way or another, we end up on top. So, hoorah. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Toxic. Volt Switch and Thunderbolt, of course, obvious moves are obvious. Flamethrower is there so that we could touch the Bronzong, we could touch the Mega Beedrill a lot, and then we could really touch the Rotom Cut. That's kind of the main reason that's there. As for the Toxic, Toxic more so for the potential switch-ins of the fatter mons like Licky Licky, the switch-ins of the Rotom Cut. We can Toxic the Porygon 2, really more so for the Porygon 2 because that thing's super fat and we can't really touch it. So that's kind of what that was there for. So, interesting stuff. Yeah, I like this Manectric. It could do a lot of work to his team potentially. I just hope it could actually work after having to change the spreads and everything. I hope it actually gets to do something. But if it doesn't, you know, we still have Sailor Moon, the Calm Mind Cresselia, max HP, max defense, Bold Nature, Calm Mind, Psyshock, Moonblast, and Moonlight. It's literally the only moveset I need for this week. The only moveset that makes sense. The only thing that is an issue is the Victini walls this thing. Victini and Bronzong wall this thing. Entirely. Like, there's no chance that we can touch them, because Psyshock and Moonblast are resisted by both. Both moves are resisted by both. So, yeah. Don't know what I thought there, but Calm Mind would be great. Set up a few Calm Minds and potentially sweep the game away from under them. If those two mons aren't there, I could essentially set up on stuff and have a nice happy life. Psyshock will absolutely nuke the Beedrill, which is great, because I like killing the Beedrill. Psyshock's also better for Conkeldurr, because if Conk is Assault Vested, Psychic will do a lot less, so Psyshock would be better. And then Moonblast is there for the sake of Mandibuzz, so that we aren't like just mono Psychic attacking, and the Mandibuzz doesn't wall us. So that way we can touch the Mandibuzz, and we could potentially beat it 1v1. So that'd be really cool and stuff, and yeah. So the last mod we have is Ramen, our Tangrowth. This is built specifically to beat Talonflame. This is built to beat Talonflame. 100%, this thing beats Talonflame. And I'll explain why. Okay? First of all, it's not going to go for a Flare Blitz against me because Brave Bird. It's got Brave Bird, it's going to use it, right? With the Copa Berry and the spread, we only take 36 to 43% from a Brave Bird, and Ancient Power 100% Okos. Especially after recoil and everything, Ancient Power just straight Okos. So that's awesome. This thing immediately shuts down Talonflame. We have enough. We speed crept the Licky Licky again because I don't know. I feel like he's bringing the Licky Licky. I mean, I don't think it's gonna matter if he does, but you know, we can speed creep it anyway. We pretty much just put the defense investment we needed for living the Brave Bird, or getting under half from the Brave Bird, and then through the rest of the special attack so we can hit hard. We have the knock off because I want to knock items off of things, because that would be nice. And then I have the Giga Drain because stab move, and he has a Vaporeon, and I can wall the Vaporeon and just Giga Drain it to death. So that'd be cool. And then lastly, I brought the Sleep Powder. I want to be able to hit something with a Sleep Powder this week. I want to hit Sleep Powder on something. I want to hit Sleep Powder for fuck's sake, because that would be dope. I want to hit a Sleep Powder because that'd just be fun. And I could put something to sleep, and then Tangrowth could put in a lot more work for the team, and that'd be dope as shit. But, hopefully this works. That's going to be the team, guys. If you guys have enjoyed this, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And, yeah, hopefully we can pull out another win. Hopefully we can get ourselves back out of this little slump that Steven so, you know, rightfully put us in, and get back on the winning ways like we once were. So, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, guys, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, ready to deliver you our week number 6 battle here in the PFL Major Leagues here on the channel. This week we are taking on K and the KaDABras. I forgot the city for the KaDABras, but that doesn't matter. It's the KaDABras. If you didn't hit a dab every time I say the KaDABras, then you should reevaluate your life and dab it up. Yeah. But you can see from our team builder right before this matchup, we had the Weasley, Starscream, Shell Shock. What was the name? Yeah, Shell Shock, Raiden, Sailor Moon, and Ramen. As you can see, he decided to bring the Mega Beedrill, the Vaporeon, Porygon 2, Victini, Bronzong, which is level 50, and I'll explain that when we get there. And Rotom Cut. Now, we had a little bit of an issue right before the battle, where I had all my team built at level 50, and his was built at level 100, and I immediately just started changing mine so that it wasn't an issue. I guess he started changing his, and he started with Bronzong, so that's unfortunate, but yeah, it did kind of matter in the matchup, I suppose. Yeah, but yeah, so we're gonna see what happens in this match. So first thing I noticed immediately at team preview is that he did not have a hazard remover. So I immediately said, oh shit, we need to lead with Druddigon. I also saw the what I had determined prior to the matchup. I saw the one thing that was preventing me from sweeping with Staraptor on his team, so that's annoying. And I saw the two things that prevented Cresselia from potentially sweeping. So with that in mind, I knew I had to take Victini and Bronzong out as fast as possible. And note, at this point, I didn't notice that he was level 50, so that's a thing. Don't crucify me; it's not my fault. He went through with the match on his own. He accepted the challenge for the match, so I'm not. The match has already been made 100% official. He made a mistake and forgot to change it, and that's just it happens. It's Pokemon, you know. Get over it. God, people are gonna be like people are probably going to flame me in the comments. They probably won't because nobody comments on my videos. People are going to probably flame me in the comments because he had a level 50 Mon against my level 100 team, which is kind of dumb because he wanted it level 100, but whatever. So I'm going to set the speed to normal, and before I get myself in more trouble, we're going to press play and switch sides. So he leads with the Mega Beedrill, like I kind of expected him to, as I lead with Weasley here. He's going to Mega Evolve and go for the Poison Jab turn 1. He's going to see my Rough Skin Rocky Helmet combo as I set my rocks up right here. Now, right there, you see I went for the Sucker Punch, right? I predicted him to potentially U-turn. I felt no reason to do anything but Sucker Punch because after seeing how much damage the Rough Skin Rocky Helmet did, it did about 28% to him. It did about 28% to him, which means that he's going to, after a Sucker Punch, he would die. If he touched me, and if he hard swapped, that's fine, that's whatever. Then at least, you know, then I reveal Sucker Punch, but at least at that point, I feel relatively okay with the situation because I already have rocks up and he has no way to get rid of them, so the Beedrill is still hurt either way. So I did go for the Sucker Punch. As you can see, he is going for an attacking move, so we're pretty much guaranteed to kill this Beedrill here. He does go for the U-turn. I don't know why, but the Rough Skin Rocky Helmet is going to take out the Mega Beedrill, so he sacks this thing off essentially turn 2, which is awesome. He goes into the Vaporeon here, and I click the Sucker Punch right here, but it fails because he actually decides to go for a Wish. You guys know my moveset, so you know that why that didn't work, what I went for. He actually then decides to go for the Ice Beam there. Understandable, I guess. Kind of fake out my Sucker Punch there with the Wish. Interesting, but he's going to Baton Pass as soon as he sees the Tangrowth. And right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is where him being level 50 matters. I clicked Knock Off. Knowing this thing wasn't staying in, I clicked Knock Off. No, I clicked Sleep Powder, actually. Right? I know I outspeed this thing, I clicked Knock Off. Knock Off one-shots the Bronzong. Okay? So that threw up red flags for me. I didn't notice it until after the battle. So, not my fault again. But, notice what the item was that he had. He was packing Weakness Policy. I don't know what kind of set he was going to run with it, but he had Weakness Policy Bronzong. That could have been so threatening to our team. I have no idea. Not really, because we have things that outspeed it really easily. But, maybe if it was Weakness Policy Trick Room, that could have been a threat. But it wouldn't have really done anything based on how early in the match it was and how many other things I had on my team that could stop it. But regardless, the Bronzong could have been a threat if it was at level 100, but it wasn't. Mistakes were made, and we're just going to move past it. Tangrowth gets the kill regardless. So, there we go. So he goes into the Victini, and right here, first of all, I see the air balloon, so that's like, alright, cool. So I know he's not choiced. So I know he's not going to be doing as much damage, right? But, I'm thinking to myself, first of all, I brought this thing as a check to Talonflame. Kind of. Second of all, outside of Vaporeon, this thing really doesn't do much for me. Third of all, the thing that I needed dead, in order for Staraptor to sweep Rooney, the thing that I needed dead is now dead. So, I didn't really have anything to worry about. So, I decided I was going to stay in with Tangrowth here, and take whatever attack he wants to go for, because I wanted him to be forced to reveal whether he's special or physical or not. So I could see what kind of set we were rocking with to deal with here. So, right here, he does go for the Blue Flare, and it just straight up OHKOs my Tangrowth, which is fine. Perfectly fine, I'm okay with the special set. I go into Shell Shock here, I have Assault Vest, I'll eat anything. He goes for the Energy Ball, gets the Spadef drop, which is kind of annoying, but I go for the Mirror Coat, and he's now in range of rocks, which is great. So I'm going to switch here, and go into my Cresselia. As he misses the Blue Flare, not really a big deal, because I would have eaten that Blue Flare like it was nothing. But he's going to switch into the Rotom here, take the Rocks damage. I'm going to go for a Calm Mind. Now, right here, this is where I made a mistake. Now, I kept thinking in my head, like, why do you go into Rotom on the Cresselia? Why would you do that? But, for whatever reason, Trick Scarf Rotom did not pop in my head once. It should have. It should have definitely popped in my head. and I should have potentially gone for. I should have gone straight for the attack this turn, because I would have figured he was offensive, and I would have wanted to go for damage. So, yeah, that would have been cool. But I didn't think that this thing could do anything to me, because I thought he would be more of a bulky spread, because you're bringing it in on a setting up Cresselia, and I figured you would go for something like Will-O-Wisp or Toxic or something like that to whittle the Cresselia down, or something along those lines. But he goes for the trick, tricks me a Choice Scarf, as I actually went for another Calm Mind. So now I'm Choice Scarfed into Calm Mind here. And again, this is another play where I kind of mess up. Notice I switch. Now, normally you'd be like, oh, you're Choice Scarfed into Calm Mind. Why would you switch? Well, because this thing has Leaf Storm, okay? And now he's free to click whatever move he wants, because he doesn't have a Scarf anymore. So, essentially, I would have... Like, there's different ways I could play that. If I had seen the Trick Scarf coming, I would have gone into our Mega Manectric, because you can't trick off a Mega Stone, so he would have been locked into Trick, and then I would have had a free move to click against whatever mon on his team I wanted to click it against. And that would have been really, really nice to have. But sadly, I cannot do that, because, you know, things already happened. But, hindsight's 20/20. It would have been a good play to make, but I didn't make it at the time. But this play right here is also a misplay. I should have stayed in and gone for the extra Calm Mind, because the threat of the Leaf Storm is so heavy. So heavy right now. I was so terrified of the potential of a Leaf Storm. I didn't want to fuck with it. But at the same time, I didn't want to be locked into Calm Mind, so I actually decided to switch. If I'd stayed in, it would have been nicer, but I switched into Manectric thinking that he's going to want to Volt Switch out. But he actually does just go for the Leaf Storm and does tremendous damage to my Manectric on the switch in, which is really unfortunate because I wanted Manectric to do some work this game, but it's not going to get the chance to. So I then hard switch back into Cresselia, as he's going to switch into the Porygon 2, and we're just going to start firing off Tri-Attacks and Psyshocks at each other. I do it twice. I get him down to about 60%. I figured this was a good amount because I know I can kill with Staraptor, and I don't think he's going to recover at this point. So I decided to switch and sack off my Manectric there to the Tri-Attack, and I go into Starscream, and this is where I just kind of win the game. He brings in the Victini, it dies to the rocks, which is fine, as I just lock myself into Brave Bird. And the cool thing about this is, knowing that the Rotom is no longer Scarfed, right? That means that Staraptor outspeeds it by 1 point if it's Timid Max Speed. So we're guaranteed outspeed and murder the Rotom. We outspeed the Vaporeon, of course, and murder that, depending on its spread. And looking at the matchup, we're gonna take a look real quick at the Vaporeon spreads. He was at a considerable amount of HP right here, right? Considerable amount. He is currently sitting at 88%, right? So, right there, that looks like it's about decent for Choice Banded damage. So you knew immediately I was banded, and at that point, there's nothing you could do. You just kind of had to just bring his mons in and just let them die at that point. And, yeah, everything just kind of started dying, and Staraptor cleaned up the game for us once again, because Staraptor is a fucking monster. And that is going to be I believe we actually pulled a 3-0 victory there against the KaDABras, which is pretty awesome. I'm really hyped about that. I love getting victories, and I love getting them over really, really tough opponents, because if you guys didn't know, Kay was actually in the finals of the minor leagues against Steven down there last season, so that was really, really cool that we were able to beat him, so that's really awesome. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to move on to next week. We are currently 5-1, which is an awesome record. We were doing fantastically well this season. I feel like we drafted insanely well, if I'm being honest. Like, our team's really, really good. So I think that's really benefited us overall. I think we've just been playing really good these past couple weeks. But it doesn't get any easier next week, because next week we are taking on Chopper in the Pannonia Pangoros. Now, yes, we did beat Chopper last season in the Major Leagues. However, he also has a really, really scary good team this season. His team's absolutely terrifying. Like, I have it in front of me right now, and it's just like, ugh. Ugh to the ugh masters. Holy fuck. His team consists of like things like, he's got Thunderous Eye, he's got Mammoth Swine, Cobalion, super threats. Meloetta is a huge issue. Mega Gyarados is terrifying. Terrifyingly terrifying stuff. Really not something I want to mess with. And on top of that, he's got nukes like Dragalge and Swampert, and Latios. Like, his team is really, really well built and really, really hard to handle. So hopefully we can come through and potentially pick up the W next week against him. That would be really dope if we could. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this match, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And stick around for next week so that we can hopefully pick up another W over the Pannonia Pangoros, who've also been doing so fantastically well this season. Yeah, but with that, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Till next time, I'm PokePrimer, signing off.